Let's give it a go.
Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge.
My first ever double threshold training day.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening.
Double threshold. Double threshold. Threshold.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
What is double threshold? You see, truth be told, even being someone who's ran at an international level, I've never done a double threshold day in my life. Because I was an 800 meter runner, I was a speed merchant. As someone who's got back into the sport and wants to dabble in the slightly longer distances than the 800, I thought I might as well try and become a more efficient runner, because apparently that is what double threshold allows you to do. So I've had to do my own research, make sure I've got a little bit of a grip of an understanding of what double threshold actually is, why we do it. Yeah, I think I've done that. So in this video, you're going to see a whole day of training and doing a double threshold day. So stick around for that, because we've got some really cool training videos, because I know you lot love that stuff. So without further ado, Jamie, let's transport us into the video. Let's get to it.
LT1 is essentially your lactate threshold. It is basically one of two thresholds. The second one being what we're going to do tonight, which is LT2, which is your lactate turn point. But let's focus on LT1 for this morning. So for that first significant rise above your baseline level of lactate, for me, going off my tests from last year, which I'll probably have on the screen somewhere, that heart rate for me sat between 170 to maybe pushing a couple of beats extra, 178. Don't pay too much attention to those heart rates, because one, that was a test in a different environment, different setting. It was indoors, it was on a treadmill. But also two, when it comes to threshold training, your heart rate can be a little bit more unreliable than your actual true blood lactate. So during a sub-max test, which is where you essentially increase your pace on a treadmill in increments, they test your bloods in between each rep and they measure your blood lactate. Treadmill gets faster and faster, your lactate should rise until you start to notice patterns. So LT1 is essentially that first significant rise above baseline. So the idea of both thresholds is to try and control your efforts as much as possible. So if anything, this morning I'm going to try and start a little bit more steady on this session. I've got 5 by 1 mile. You'll hear a lot of people do 4 by 6 minutes, 5 by 6 minutes, 6 by 6 minutes. This is essentially like doing 5 by 6 minutes for me.
But yeah, really quickly, okay? Really quickly, don't click off. Lactate is the body's or the muscle's response to fatigue. It's supposed to work as a little bit of an energy system, but we don't want to go too deep into that. And technically that burning sensation you get in your body, and we always call it lactate, I think it's technically the hydrogen ions or something like that. But basically, all you need to know is the harder you're trying, the more the intensity goes up, the higher the blood lactate is. And the theory is, if you train within these thresholds, so you're not spiking this blood lactate too high, you can become more of an efficient, stronger aerobic runner, because you're able to fit more volume in because it's controlled. You're not fatiguing the body as much as you would do on, let's say, a VO2 max training session where you're doing really hard intervals, but you're also not just shuffling around, not really testing the body. You're sort of in that sweet zone, that threshold, because you're controlling it. So more aerobic stimulus, good aerobic stimulus, you become a better, stronger runner and a more efficient one as well, because you become more efficient at sort of flushing that lactate round. That's the theory. And also, you then don't risk injury as much, you don't tax the body as much, because again, you can recover quicker from these training sessions too. Hence why we do 2 of them, hence why it's supposed to be more beneficial for endurance runners.
When it comes to double threshold training, obviously your lactate's the most important factor. That's why you'll see a lot of the pro guys using like the blood lactate monitor. I'm using a past lab result, but that's not going to be quite as accurate. My zones are probably going to be slightly different. It's still a very controlled, measured way of trying to maintain the zones. The heart rates are not a target, they're more of a ceiling when it comes to threshold training. That was good. Average under 4 minute K there. I'd rather have done it that way around, keeping that first
Hold on. Wait. Hey!
Let's go then. No! That first rep out of the 5, like almost semi-taking a little bit, just keeping the heart rate nice and low, just to ease myself into it. So now I've got 4 reps of hopefully the right pace. Great success. It's weird. It's a weird sensation knowing what I normally am like. You also know you've got that second session in the day because you're thinking, right, let's not overdo it here. So that was good. All the heart rates. To be honest, I probably could have gone a little bit quicker for some of them, but then that's just playing with fire because then you chance it and then you end up out the zone completely and the whole session's just pointless. I've worked at that LT1 sort of range and I've kept myself honest with my ego and just kept it, yeah, sensible, ready for tonight's session. It's gonna look so shit. The background's gonna be like, what the fuck? Do teleport as well.
Spanish opera to solo, please.
It was really good, mate. I'm gonna head off to work because I have a job, and then we're gonna come back in the evening for session 2 of the day, 20 by 400.
This isn't your real job.
What?
Get a real job.
Get a real job. You will never make it. You will never make it. Fast forward, it's 20 to 9. We've got the LT2 session, which is basically your lactate turn point. Basically, LT2, it is the point where your lactate is rising significantly to a point where you cannot efficiently flush it out, essentially. Or at least that's what I read. So at that point, if you continue to run at the effort that you're running at, you're probably going to slow down because your legs are going to just feel like lead. That feeling you get in a race, that's what you want to do. So we want to keep under that. So for me, looking at my lab results again, which I'll put on the screen, looking at those results, again, these are old results, so we can't rely on those exactly. It looked like I was hitting my LT2 around 184 beats per minute. So what I need to do is essentially keep it below that. It's obviously a bit different as well because we are on a track, we are doing intervals as well. So I haven't got a lot of time to sort of sit at a heart rate. So I've got to just go off feel. That is the main thing you should be doing, guys. When you're trying to do all this sort of stuff, just mainly go off of feel because that is the most important thing. So we're going to be aiming for 77 to 80 second laps. Again, 30-second recoveries between the reps, 20 by 400. Let's give it a go.
I don't really care if you cry. I don't really shouldn't have a lie. Should've saw the way she looked me in my eyes. She said, baby, I am not afraid to die. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge.
Right, so that was my first experience of a double threshold day. What were my thoughts? Do I think it was beneficial? And most importantly, should you, watching this at home or wherever you're watching it, be doing double threshold yourself? So let me answer those questions. Did I enjoy the double threshold day? It was pretty good. I think, first time bias, it was kind of all exciting, it was all interesting. I could imagine, especially that LT2 session in the evening, I could imagine on your own, that is so boring if you're doing that every single week. However, yes, I think there's a massive benefit to doing that. It was very weird, like being super controlled with my training for once. I'm very used to, whenever I'm on the track, it's usually a hard interval training session, VO2 max kind of stuff, race pace, 5K pace. So that was pretty cool. I think I could have maybe pushed it on a little bit in the morning, that LT1 session. I think I was a little bit too conservative. However, as I spoke to coach and I mentioned to him, I said, look, I'd rather it be that way than have overdone it in the morning and then absolutely buried myself for the evening session. So you live and you learn. I also, as you would have seen, didn't have a physical lactate tester, and that is obviously the most accurate way to know what your lactates are, your blood lactates are in that moment. However, I was using my lab results, as I've mentioned about a million times. They are old results. They're from last year. I am probably quite a lot fitter than I was when I got the test done. So yeah, that LT1 session was probably a little bit too conservative, but I did the best that I could. I ran off of feel and my heart rate, in correlation to what those lactates kind of should be. I think I smashed the LT2 session though. I think that was bang on appropriate. I reckon if I'd have tested my lactates every 5 or so reps, they would have been bang on and nice and consistent. I felt like I could go on, do more, even at that LT2 pace. And the same obviously goes with the LT1 because that's supposed to be really, really controlled. So overall, really good. And for me personally, as someone who at the moment is trying to run a sub 15 minute 5K and can smash sub 3 minute K pace in sessions, I can do that stuff back to back at the moment. I'm doing K reps in under 3 minutes. The other day I did a session where my last K rep was 250. And you'd look at that and think, oh, mate, you're in shape. Like, you're going to go under 15 minutes. I know for a fact I am not efficient enough to bang 5 sub 3 minute K reps back to back. So these double threshold days for me might be useful to make me more of an efficient athlete because, like I say, I'm a speed merchant. It's my bread and butter. I can get on the track and have, relatively short recoveries and still hit paces. But can I do it in one go? Can I do 5K in under 15 minutes at this moment in time? No, and that's because I'm not efficient enough. So double thresholds for me might be useful. And that's where we get onto the last question. Is double threshold useful for you sitting here watching this at home? Is it suitable for everyone? No, obviously not. There's a reason why you see a certain archetype or demographic of athlete doing these double thresholds. They're usually at a point in their training where they can't really add much to their week, so they need to be more methodical with their training. Therefore, they stack these double threshold days within their training so they can be more efficient with their time and the aerobic stimulus they're trying to emulate without costing their body too much so they can still run more. It's kind of a weird balance. I think personally, and ChatGPT agrees with me, that anyone that's doing less than, let's say, 45 miles, 50 miles a week, so that's like 70 to 80 kilometers per week, anyone doing less than that probably should just focus on trying to up their mileage a little bit. That's what I would say. And you could even argue that me at the moment, I've done a couple of 80K weeks. You could argue that I don't really need to be doing double threshold at this stage of my training. Probably not. I just wanted to give it a go. And like I said about the efficiency thing, that's something I really need to work on. So yeah, it's up to you. I think it's a really, really cool way of training. I can see why people do it. But yeah, it might not be for everyone at their stage of running. But obviously, once you're getting that mileage up, I can see why a lot of the pros are improving at alarming rates, other than other reasons. But you know what I mean. Yeah, everyone's getting better. And I think this double threshold stuff is really helping. And I think it's helping because we're not absolutely, killing our legs every single time we get out into a training session. We're doing this sort of in-between stuff that's really controlled and it makes sense. Anyway, that's done. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had loads of fun making this one. So please like, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And yeah, like I say, drop in the comments. Have you experienced double threshold day? What do you think of it? How do you think that I got on with it today? And anything else you want to see me do, drop it in the comments, guys. I literally reply to every single comment I get, especially at this stage of YouTube. Me and Jamie are really trying to get this channel off the ground, and we've got plenty more stuff coming up in the future. So, as I always say, don't cry, don't beg, and I'll see you in the next one. So today, I'm going to show you how much Lego I can fit in my butt. Right. Oh, I missed it. One more time. I want to see what my heart rate's saying. Okay. Exactly. What did I just say on the camera the whole time? He's going to just speak for the sake of speaking. All right.